This is The Antidote with Dave Hawkins, where Christian music doesn't suck.
I've been scraping by, not sleeping, much too late to try and lay my head down tonight. Phrases flying round like grenades. Side's been taken, it's time to finally see this out. This is war, and there's no way to come out clean. This is life, and it's the most scared I've ever been. 'Cause I don't know, will we make it through one more night? Can we hold out to the next sunrise, when all the gunpowder and smoke has cleared? Who'll be coming home? Will we make it through one more night? Can we hold out to the next sunrise, when all the gunpowder and smoke has cleared? Who'll be coming home? Oh, will we be coming home? Trenches flowing with the blood of all my thoughts and ideas that couldn't hold their own. Yeah, and my wounded pride, he stands with raised hands on this no man's land, as the order comes to bring him down. Yeah, this is war, and there's no way I'm gonna come out clean. Yeah, this is life, and you'll have to try harder than that to take me out. Will we make it through one more night? Can we hold out to the next sunrise, when all the gunpowder and smoke has cleared? Who'll be coming home?
The Antidote is back, and tonight's show heads to Australia to meet with the cool sound of the Quick and the Dead, whose music has been described as southern folk rock with a side serving of blues. But there's more to their sound than just that, and you'll have the chance to hear just some of that tonight as we share a few tracks from this uber-talented band. The vocalist, drummer, and frontman of the Quick and the Dead, Rhys Duursma, joined me for a talk just last week about their music. And towards the end of the show, he gives us a first listen to a few of the songs from the Quick and the Dead's self-titled album, which releases September 1st. We began tonight's show with the song War from the band's Hunger album, and we're going to carry on with another track from that release, Silver and Gold.
playing hard to get. Oh, but I won't give up yet. No, I won't give up yet. With her fiery eyes and her figure so fine, she's fooled the best. Yeah, she's impossible to forget. They say that I'm just chasing a ghost, 'cause she's always just slipping past. Happy is a man who finds her, doesn't give up the chase. Wealthy is a man who holds her tight, but doesn't let her go. She says a question's worth more than the answer, 'cause it's more than you can hold. Girl, I want you for my own. Oh, she says, you're all mine, oh, we ain't nothing at all. She's like silver and gold. She can't be sold, she can't be bought, she can't be owned, she can't be caught. She goes by truth or wisdom, this girl that fell from the heavens, and I'll pursue, oh, like silver and gold, like silver and gold. Oh, she's like silver and gold. Happy is a man who finds her and doesn't give up the chase. Wealthy is a man who holds her tight, oh, but doesn't let her go. Turn your head and hear now the whisper in your ear. She fills your empty soul now, but you know that she's not yours to own. Oh, she's like silver and gold. Oh, she's like silver and gold.
Rhys Duursma of The Quick and the Dead is here with The Antidote. Thanks so much for joining us, Rhys.
Thanks for having me.
Now, before we get into anything very important, I need to know two things from you. What's the weather like right now in Australia? And where do you find the best coffee?
It is sunny, but it is cold where I am. And the best coffee, there's a few different candidates for that. I'm going to go with the Preview, tiny little shop by the river.
And that's the top place for a coffee.
Yeah, well, in Glenrowan for sure.
Okay, well, you talked about the temperature. You actually have to tell us what it is.
Or maybe, I'm going to say 10 degrees.
That's pretty cool. It's been 33 degrees here, and the Humidex is 42.
Yeah.
And for our American friends, that's about 104. Okay, I want to switch places then with you. I'm going to come down right now.
Yeah. Okay, well, who's paying for flights? Because I'm happy to... I could do that.
Well, listen, I want to know more about your band itself. I'm not sure if this has ever been an issue for you, but I found there are so many bands out there that have a name almost identical to yours. I even made up a list of the bands that I found. Here we go. So we had Quick and the Dead, which was a Christian rock band from California who finished up in 2008. Mm-hmm. And then there's the Quick and the Dead, which is a Christian group out of Kansas City who have like a really lame CCM style of music.
Yeah.
And there's even a retired Christian band from Australia called Quick and the Dead who were doing rock back in the 80s and the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was only one non-Christian band I even found that had the same name, which is a pop band from the island of Jersey. So now, not only does Quick and the Dead have to stand out from the rest of the music scene, now you have to stand out from the rest of your namesakes. You know, but seriously though, your band does have a distinctive style.
Well, I'm going to add to your list there. There's a band in Perth, Australia that have finished up a while back because we obviously did a bit of research after we chose the name. And they were a Nazi punk band who used to turn up into a town, play a show, and pretty much tear the joint apart. So, yeah, but we've had, with the name, the Australian Christian band that you mentioned, we've actually had a bunch of people turn up just to say, I just wanted to check that you're not those guys because whatever, they had a connection in the past with them. So it's been kind of cool to have that history. Obviously, the bands in the States we haven't really had a problem with.
Well, I guess I should help our listeners out here, because if you hunt for the Quick and the Dead, you just have to use an ampersand instead of using and in the name.
Yeah. Although the bigger problem is there's 2 Western films called The Quick and the Dead.
That's right.
They kind of monopolize the search a little bit.
Yeah, also with an Australian.
Yeah.
And drive, drive, drive. My feet are tired of standing still. My eyes wanna see what's over that next hill. Put my feet to the road and I'll show you how to move. 'Cause I'm headed to a land where all dreams come true. Life on the road, life on the road, living dreams and seeing things I wanted for so long. Life on the road, and drive, drive, drive. Hey! I'm sick of this 9-to-5 success. I wanna quit my job and live this life of loneliness. Oh, I will someday, I will. Life on the road, life on the road, living dreams and seeing things I wanted for so long. Life on the road, and drive, drive, drive. Hey! Life on the road, life on the road, living dreams and seeing things I've wanted for so long. Life on the road, life on the road. Oh, your money ain't got no hold on me.
Quick and the Dead is relatively new. How did it all begin?
So it's me and my brother Kai, and a friend of ours, Isaac, who is pretty much a brother as well. I guess it's a new thing, but like we've grown up playing music together. I was saying before, we live in a very small town, so there's not a lot to do. So we just wrote music. That was our growing up time. I guess it's just a natural thing when you're playing music, learning stuff that you like, to start writing music. And then when you write music, you just want to be able to share that, whether that's performing or recording.
You mentioned about your town. I looked up Glen Rowan online and found that your town had a really notorious resident called Ned Kelly.
That's right.
How about giving us the story?
Yeah, well, Ned Kelly, the story is he was an Irishman in Australia, moved over, and the police were giving them a pretty hard time. Well, I should say there's a lot of different versions of the story. Some paint Ned Kelly as a criminal, some kind of paint him as a hero. So him and his brothers got in trouble with the police, so they went on the run. And the reason that they could successfully kind of hide was because all of the locals knew their family and helped them out. So it was kind of the police onto everyone. Is it the Dalton gang?
Yeah, the Dalton gang.
Heard about them recently when I was over in the States, and I was kind of surprised because it was all the townspeople took on the Dalton gang, whereas here it's the opposite. The police were taking on Ned Kelly, and everyone helped Ned Kelly's family out. The big story of Ned Kelly is that he was going to take the police on once and for all. So he went to Glenrowan, which is not where he lived, but close, and got all the townspeople and holed them up in the local pub, bought everyone free drinks, basically. So the police were all coming on a train with a bunch of like detectives and stuff, I guess, to get them for good. And one school teacher told Ned Kelly that his kid was sick and so he had to go home. So he snuck out and went further down the tracks and flagged down the train. So the train stopped, which meant that it didn't derail where Ned Kelly had pulled up all the tracks further down. And so the police all came to the bar and shot it up. The iconic thing about Ned Kelly is he wore a big kind of steel bucket on his head with an eye slot. Kind of like some antique knight's armor.
But of course didn't work for him. But he is famous because you've got a huge statue of him in the town.
Yeah, lots of tourists.
Okay, so now it's time for the facts. Does this Ned Kelly story have anything to do with your band name, The Quick and the Dead? It just seems to tie right in.
No, it definitely doesn't. But that's an interesting thought. I'll have to think about that.
Can you feel the thrill of uncertainty coursing through your veins? We could leave a piece of our hearts in every state, down every road. Have a million homes. You can have your predictable, I'm cutting loose. Faster, faster, forward, always moving. No time, white lines pass us by. And people always make it worth it. And that's the reason we're all alive. Wow! Unattainable dreams will give us wings to achieve the impossible and make us cling to the master of fate with hands of faith till we make it home. You can have your predictable, I'm cutting loose. Faster, faster, forward, always moving. No time, white lines pass us by. And people always make it worth it. And that's the reason we're all alive. Yeah, there's a fine line between flight and a jacket of white. Yeah, and every time that we dream we wake contentment on the line. Right. And faster, faster, forward, always moving. No time, white lines pass us by. And people always make it worth it. That's the reason we are all alive. Yeah, there's a fine line between flight and a jacket of white. And every time that we dream, we lay contentment on the line. Yeah, there's a fine line between flight and a jacket of white.
Between parts of our talk was a pair of songs from the Hunger release. First was Drive, and you just heard the song Flight. Coming up, Rhys and I spent some time talking about the Hunger album. Your band seems to have taken the most difficult route possible to record. Your debut album, Hunger, was recorded in just 4 days with minimal overdubs. Didn't anyone tell you that that's not how it's done?
No, they didn't. I guess it was just necessity, but it was also, we grew up listening to a lot of old blues music, and like just hearing lots of stories about all these old bands just putting a microphone in the room and pressing record. That kind of appeals to us. That's the sort of thing that excites us over kind of the current music scene, is about getting everything perfect and getting everything, I want to say, almost fake. Like a lot of pop music is how I see it. So that kind of helped us with the decision, but also just necessity. Like all three of us were working at the time, and not a lot of money, and we had this friend who has a portable studio, and so we actually recorded it in our home. He came up for 2 days, and we set up and recorded all the instruments live, and then I trekked up to his house and recorded in his studio the vocals over another weekend. I don't know, I guess the whole idea through it was just to try and capture what it sounded like live, because it's just a straight rock band, I guess, in a sense. Not trying to do anything fancy, just trying to capture who we are.
It's a really interesting blending of southern rock and blues. You know, at first it didn't seem to be a natural mix, but the more I hear it, the more it just seems to be so attuned to each other.
Yeah, that's interesting. And we've talked about this a lot. I kind of wish that I could be someone to hear it for the first time, because once you're up close and like we make music, so it took us a long time to kind of get comfortable with the title for a genre. Well, I'm sure you can tell me if you think that it fits or if it suits. But yeah, like being so close to the music, it's hard. Like sometimes I'd like to just be able to hear it for the first time again.
It was really interesting to hear the songs on Hunger, because they range all over the place. I mean, you go all out with the southern rock on the title track, then it's totally pared down on songs like If I Sing and Where's Your Treasure. Do you like that kind of diversity?
In our music tastes, yeah, we definitely listen to a lot of varied stuff. As far as writing goes, we don't think too much about it. We just write whatever comes, and that can look like a lot of different things.
I absolutely adore this song, the amazing title track from the Quick and the Dead album, Hunger.
wasting time. I'm just happy blurring lines. Just take it all, mine, mine. I just can't see no end to take it all, mine, mine. Hey, we've got full pockets and empty hearts. How did we ever fall this far? Hey, it's all we'll ever need. Give one more week, you'll see. We just eat and eat and eat. Let's take it all, mine, mine. Too busy following to see past the next thing. See where this road ends. Let's take it all, mine, mine. We've got full pockets and empty hearts. How did we ever fall this far? Hey, we've got full pockets and empty hearts. How did we ever fall this far? We're all so sick. We're all so sick. I just wanna live. I just wanna live. Wow! Hey! All right.
Okay, so then what musical direction are each of the band members coming from? Like, what's your mainstay, Rhys, versus what Kai and Isaac enjoy?
That's interesting. There's probably a lot of overlap. Obviously, me and Kai growing up in the same house, listened to a lot of the music that our parents showed us. At the moment, Kai, who's the guitarist, he is getting into a lot of old blues stuff, kind of Robert Cray band, Eric Clapton. Actually, Tom Petty is one that pretty much all of us are loving at the moment. It just seems like we were saying before about modern music being about getting everything perfect. I think the thing that Kai and I are looking for in music at the moment is just something that captures the feeling and that just expresses. It's just like raw music. So Kai, definitely the old kind of 70s blues. I've probably been getting a little bit softer at the moment. I've been listening to a lot of Josh Garrels. He's one of my favorites at the moment.
One of mine too.
Yeah. Isaac is kind of the complete opposite to me and Kai in most everything, which is good because he balances us out. he enjoys probably a lot of, not quite top 40, but like bordering on that. Yeah. We don't let him choose the music when we're in the car.
I was going to say, there also has to be one reason for a battle, and maybe that's a good one.
Yeah.
I want to carry on about talking about the recording process, because again, that unusual recording style also came about on your follow-up to Hunger, the EP Folk in Flight. Did you just fill up the room with musicians and just let everybody do their own thing?
Pretty much. Yeah, we know a lot of great musicians, and just a lot of people that love music. So the idea for Folk in Flight came around as an in-between album, because we were like, well, we play these songs acoustically in a bunch of different venues. So why don't we, just as an in-between project, why don't we record that just even more than Hunger, like just in the moment and just a mic in the room, just to show people kind of that side of it, because there's like all the different aspects of the music and we just want to share that with people. So at first we were going to individually burn cassette tapes and only release it on cassettes. And just like, we were just thinking of like the most DIY we could go with it. We did release it on cassettes, but we put it online as well because we just wanted to share it with everyone. But yeah, pretty much we had a weekend. We invited all our friends and family that were musicians, and we just went for it. It was a really fun weekend.
What was the most fun moment from that for you?
There was a lot of stuff, a lot of moments that were great. But for me, I think the moment that sticks in all of our memories, we recorded it at Kai's house where he was living at the time, and it was kind of on top of a hill. So there was one moment we'd just finished recording a bunch of stuff, and so we just all went out on the balcony and just kind of sat and talked and had a couple of guitars and just kind of watched the sunset. For us, that felt really significant. I mean, there was a lot of fun that was had on the weekend, but that moment just felt like it captured kind of the community and the family and the bit of music going on. And yeah, that was probably the standout moment for me. Hey, this is Rhys Duursma from The Quick and the Dead, and you've got the Antidote.
Every time I fail, make a promise to my soul. Every time I fail, I nail in my own. Oh, we're just snakes with wings trying to leave this ground behind. Trying so hard to clean the scales out of my eyes. Going up to lose myself in you. I find but just snakes with wings trying to leave ourselves behind. Trying so hard to leave the stare right through their eyes. But when I lose myself in you, I see myself in truth. Oh, snakes with wings trying to leave this ground behind. There's a dragon in me, there's a dragon in you. I'm capable of the worst, capable of the best. There's a dragon in me, there's a dragon in you. I'm capable of the worst, capable of the best. Snakes with wings trying to leave this ground behind. Oh, trying so hard to clean the scales out of my eyes. But when I lose myself in you, I find myself in flight. Snakes with wings trying to leave this ground behind. Every time I fail, make a promise to my soul. Every time I fail, make a promise to my soul. Yeah, and every time I fail, I wish that I was home.
Snakes with Wings, one of the cool acoustic tracks from the Quick and the Dead's Folk in Flight EP. You're about ready to release the Quick and the Dead's new self-titled full-length. Really interesting recording. It seems like you have two different stories you're trying to tell on the album.
Well, as far as stories go, I don't think that much about what I'm trying to write normally as a continued album. Like normally songs for me, they just come out of whatever I'm thinking. So I process things, and then after I've kind of come to terms with how that interacts with me, then I put it on paper. So the thing I did different on this album was that there is the 4 songs kind of scattered throughout the album that tell a story. It was very intentional. I guess a lot of my writing is kind of contemplative or first person. So the idea of those 4 songs was to personally step outside and try a different writing style and write a story. Yeah, so those songs are called Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, and Chapter 4.
You've released the lead single, The Blacksmith, from the self-titled, where you've used an interesting fire-breathing analogy for spreading faith. How did that come about?
Honestly, I can't really remember how the lyrics came, but like I said, like normally I'll be thinking about something, so I'm going to say I heard a sermon or I was reading a bit of the Bible and something just stuck out and it just kind of spun up the top of my head for a while, and then that's how it came out. It's kind of cool that turned out as the first single, because that was literally the week after we recorded Hunger, we wrote that song. I was listening to an old recording of it that we just recorded to kind of so that we could remember it, and it's pretty much exactly the same. Like, we haven't changed a lot on that song at all. So that's 2 years ago, so it's still going.
Letters like sparks, express phrases of flame, pouring forth like drops of rain. Yeah, out our mouths like gasoline. Letters like sparks, express phrases of flame, pouring forth like drops of rain. Yeah, out our mouths like gasoline. So we burn on bright, yeah, we can breathe fire. Set this world alight, yeah, we can breathe fire. Oh, we can breathe fire. Breath like bellows, lungs to fan the cold, make glowing streams of our souls, to flood the earth with glories untold. So we burn on bright, yeah, we can breathe fire. Set this world alight, yeah, we can breathe fire. So we burn on bright, yeah, we can breathe fire. Set this world alight, yeah, we can breathe fire. And oh, we can breathe fire. Take the cold, touch my lips, purge this soul, scarlet sinner. Make me whole, sear this skin, let your holiness kiss my lips, and I will go, ere I will go. Burn on bright, we can breathe fire. Burn on bright, yeah, we can breathe fire. And so we burn on bright, yeah, we can breathe fire. Set this world alight, yeah, we can breathe fire. And oh, we can breathe fire.
Another song from the new album is a really catchy track called Gone, and it speaks about not wasting your life. Do you think that's an issue with people falling into that kind of pit?
I don't know that I can speak for people in general, but definitely for me. So a lot of the album Hunger was written while I was working as an apprentice, and Gone is one of the songs that was written during that time as well. So a lot of it is about kind of wanting more than just working 9 to 5 and working for a living and just doing the day in, day out. I know that a lot of that, like, it's important to have consistency and schedule. But for me, if I can look ahead for the next 2 years and see that I'm going to be doing exactly the same thing, that kind of drives me a little bit insane. So with Gone, it's less about a negative and it's more trying to get me to wake up. Even though I might be doing the same thing for the next year, all the little moments, I can't waste those. I need to do my best to make the most of all those opportunities.
The spine as I'm running out of time. I'm shaking within every time that I think this is the last I'll ever see. Oh, this moment. Oh, that's right. Looking over your shoulder, see the day getting older. I can't get a grip as the rope starts to slip through my fingers and is lost to the emptiness. I don't want to waste my life, and it's been keeping me up. And I don't want to waste my life, and I've been trying to keep up. Yeah, with what was my future lost in the woodwork, constantly passing me by. I'm too scared to blink for what I might miss. Gone. Like shaking with the revelation, life's ain't no vacation. We are meant to make a change, question all the ways in which the world keeps living life without a care. I don't wanna waste my life, and it's been keeping me up. And I don't wanna waste my life, and I've been trying to keep up. Yeah, with what was my future lost in the woodwork, constantly passing me by. I'm too scared to blink for what I might miss. We've gotta make it count, oh, we've gotta make it count. Gotta make it count. Yeah, we've gotta make it count, oh, we've gotta make it count.
Gone, one of the great songs found on the Quick and the Dead's upcoming self-titled release that drops September 1st. The whole album is really outstanding, and the final track, Chapter 4, is just a killer song. You're really going to want to download it. Well, for this summer, this is the final live show for the Antidote as Trent Radio gears up for the new fall season. But I'm not going to leave you out in the cold. The next episode of The Antidote goes straight to our website, theantidoteradio.com. You can get it there or do what The Quick and the Dead does and listen to the podcast by subscribing on iTunes. And on that episode, we get into the extraordinary blending of metal subgenres from Doom Tiger. The soul band member David Taylor joins us to explain how he can be so prolific. And here comes a bit more of our talk with Rhys from The Quick and the Dead, and an exclusive listen to one of the songs from their new self-titled. Have a great week. The Quick and the Dead have made it pretty obvious that the band loves being on the edge musically. But is music your future? Or are you going to dump all of that and follow your lead from the album and all become cowboys?
Definitely music is something we'll be making for the rest of our lives. What that looks like, who knows? Yeah, so The Quick and the Dead could make another 6 albums, or we could play for the next 2 years just live. I know Kai's been talking about wanting to do some more blues stuff by himself, just almost like Johnny Lee Hooker type stuff. I'm engaged, and my fiance is a singer-songwriter, so we've just started an acoustic duo. Yeah, so definitely, like, music is something that's inside of us, so it's always going to come out. But as far as The Quick and the Dead goes, not sure. We'll just see how it goes, I guess.
Okay, fair enough. Well, what with this huge time difference between us, you've just started your day, and here I am. I'm ready to close up things and go to bed. But how about one last thing? I'd love for you to give us a song from The Quick and the Dead to close the Antidote.
Yeah. Well, this song is called Saint, and it's probably the most cruisy of the songs. It's just got a really relaxed vibe, but for me, it kind of epitomizes everything that as a band we stand for. Just trying to get outside of ourselves and trying to help those who are down or worse off than us. As a Christian, I see that as being kind of the main part of the gospel, really. That's what Jesus did, that's what we do, right? We need to give people a hand up instead of stepping on them on our way up. Yeah, so this is Saint.
Well, thanks for this, Rhys. It's been really great meeting with you and hearing more about The Quick and the Dead.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on.
I've been staring on near on all day, but there ain't no trace of a saint at all. On our wall, you and me, we've got stories to tell. Oh, times have been, times are coming, when I'll feel like hell. Who'll be there to fall on? Brother, take my hand. Brother, could you stand tall? When I stumble and I taste the face of a saint at home. Brother, take my hand. Brother, help me stand. I'll be the king of come on the earth. Be the hands not afraid of the dirt. Be the love that's not in the mirror. Be the God that's not in the mirror. Brother, take my hand.